All right, bringing this meeting to order. Pardon this chair that's oddly low. All right, so this is City Council regular meeting. We're in City Hall Council Chambers, 389 Spruce Street. It's Tuesday, October 15th. It's 13 minutes after 7 o'clock. The meeting will be broadcast live via YouTube at City of Morgantown YouTube, and we're going to start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So now we're calling the meeting to order, and we're asking the clerk if she would please call the roll.
Yes. Bill Koecki?
Here.
Weezy Michael? Deputy Mayor Celine?
Here?
Danielle Trumbull?
Here.
Dave Harshbarger? Brian Butcher?
Here.
Mayor Abu Ghanem?
Now we have the approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes this evening. We have October 1st, 2024 special meeting minutes and October 1st, 2024 regular meeting minutes. We usually approve minutes by acclamation, and if anybody has anything, you just would note that. So now we're on to correspondence. We have some proclamations today. So the first one is Arbor Day. And yes, we have Dave Barnett here. So Dave, if you want to come up.
I do.
Now where is it now that we're supposed to stand?
Close to the
Stand on
microphone.
that side, and we'll get a photo on the other side.
Okay. So
Once you, okay.
will we both stand on this side now?
Yes.
And then we both stand on that side later?
That's correct.
All right, we can do this.
Okay.
The rules have changed.
All right.
Proclamation, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas the legislature of the state of West Virginia has adopted an act designating Arbor Day, and by that act has designated the second Friday of every April as the State Arbor Day, and whereas the city of Morgantown will celebrate Arbor Day on October 19th, 2024, to take full advantage of the fall weather, which is an excellent time to plant trees. The shorter days and mild temperatures are less stressful and ensures a greater survival rate on newly planted trees, and whereas it is the purpose of this designation of this day throughout the nation to encourage the planting of shade and forest trees, to encourage the protection of our trees from the scourge of devastating insects, diseases, and fires that destroy the beauty and usefulness of our woodlands, parks, and street trees, as well as their wildlife. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in the city of Morgantown increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Whereas Saturday, October 19, 2024, the city of Morgantown will be celebrating Arbor Day and their 27th year as a Tree City USA. Now therefore, I, Jenny Celine, Deputy Mayor of the city of Morgantown, do hereby proclaim Saturday, October 19, 2024 as Arbor Day. The city of Morgantown, West Virginia, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect and enhance our trees throughout the city. And furthermore, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote well-being of this and future generations. And I guess we should also be very appreciative of our tree board that helps us work on trees.
Sure.
Every day.
Every day.
Every week,
Well,
every month.
every day. We think about it.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's a good.
So anyway,
Thank you.
Welcome. And then, did you have something that you would like to say?
Well, this Saturday at
Yes.
10 a.m. at Jack Roberts Park, we're going to plant 3 trees. So everybody's welcome to join us and help plant the tree. And we're also, if there's interest, going to have a tree walk in Jack Roberts. Got the trees that are already there. So come on out. It'll be fun.
Perfect. Now, we're going to stand right here,
Okay.
as we have been directed, and you
Oh.
kind of point that out this way. There we go.
Great. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
All right.
You bet. All right, we have to find out who's next. All right, Extra Mile Day, there's not a person here to receive it, unless somebody tells me that they are here. Is there anyone here to receive Extra Mile Day? I don't believe that. She's come once or something. Okay. So the ones where there isn't someone to receive it, they will receive it by mail. Whereas Morgantown, West Virginia is a community that acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. And whereas Morgantown, West Virginia is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. Whereas Morgantown, West Virginia is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who go the extra mile in order to make a difference and lift up fellow members of their community. And whereas Morgantown, West Virginia acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 550 Extra Mile cities in America, and it's proud to support Extra Mile Day on November 1st, 2024. Now therefore, I, Jenny Celine, the Deputy Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the first day of November 2024 as Extra Mile Day in the City of Morgantown. We encourage each individual in the community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but also to acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, country, or world a better place. It's kind of cool. So now we have I think we missed one. We missed the Charles Malone proclamation. It's right here. That's in here? Yes. All right. We would not have missed it for long. We're just a little out of order. All right, so can we have Charles Malone come up?
He said you should turn the microphone around.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right, we're learning how
Very
to
good.
turn the microphone around. All right. Congratulations, it's
Thank you.
cool. Whereas Charles Malone began his service with the Public Works Department of the City of Morgantown on November 3rd, 1996, after serving 8 years with the Morgantown Utility Board. And whereas his first assignment was as a street department laborer serving in this role, whereas he was next promoted to the street department skilled laborer, followed by promotion to truck driver, followed by equipment operator, and whereas his last appointment was as a superintendent, where he served his last 4 years in the role where he successfully led and provided selfless service to the City of Morgantown. And whereas for over 35 years, Mr. Malone has performed quality service in an exceptional manner on duty or in the performance of his duties related to the City of Morgantown, he is truly deserving of this proclamation for his extraordinary individual contributions on behalf of Public Works Department toward the overall mission of the City of Morgantown.
Now therefore, I, Jenny Celine, Deputy Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, on behalf of the City Council and City Administration, do express our most sincere appreciation to Charles W. Malone, and hereby take this opportunity to publicly thank and honor him for his great service to the City of Morgantown. In witness thereof, we're setting our hand and causing the seal to be affixed the 15th day of October. Pretty cool. Do you have anyone else that you'd like to have come up with you, or?
Are you good right here, or? Okay. Yeah, there we go. Get Michelle up here. We hand this to you because it is for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a few. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Great. Awesome, thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, man. 35 years.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Congratulations to you.
Amazing.
It's incredible. All right, now we're on our last proclamation. This is regarding ageism. Ageism refers to the stereotypes, how we think, prejudice, how we feel, and discrimination, how we act toward others based on age. And whereas there are an estimated 20% older adults in Morgantown, West Virginia, older than age 60, who are impacted by ageism, whereas ageism toward older adults affects their health and longevity, financial well-being, and the economy of Morgantown, West Virginia, whereas preventing ageism in education, employment, housing, culture, and healthcare will benefit all. And whereas recognizing that it is up to all of us to ensure that older adults are respected and portrayed as capable, competent, effective, and values in all areas of society. And whereas ageism awareness and preventing ageism is beneficial to all citizens of Morgantown, West Virginia by improving quality of life within the state of West Virginia. Now therefore, I, Jenny Celine, Deputy Mayor of the City of Morgantown, West Virginia, on behalf of City Council, do hereby proclaim October 9th, 2024, as Ageism Awareness Day in the City of Morgantown. So those will go to the appropriate people. All right, we have a series of public hearings. Oh yeah, thank you for turning that back around. We have a series of public hearings. If you're wanting to speak, you would just speak during the public hearing that is appropriate for the topic that you would like to discuss. Otherwise, you would speak at the public portion, which is item number 8 on your agenda. So, public hearing A, an ordinance authorizing and regulating private outdoor designated areas in the city of Morgantown. If there's anyone wishing to speak on this topic, and we'll close this public hearing. Item B, an ordinance annexing property of Milan Pushkar Health Right Incorporated into the corporate boundaries of the city of Morgantown. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Do not see anyone. Item C, an ordinance authorizing and approving the conveyance of real property to the Morgantown Building Commission, the leasing of such property from the Morgantown Building Commission, and the issuance by the Building Commission of its lease revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $11 million, all relating to the construction of improvements at Marilla Park. We're opening this one. If anyone's wishing to speak, this is your moment. We're going to close that one. Item D, an ordinance amending Article 925 of the City Code to revise the rates, fees, and charges for the service areas served by the Cheat Lake wastewater treatment plant. Pardon me. So we're going to open this one. If anyone's wishing to speak. Okay. We're going to close this one. Now we're on to unfinished business. Consideration of approval of a second reading of an ordinance authorizing and regulating private outdoor designated areas in the city of Morgantown. And the first reading was October 1st of '24. If Ryan wanted to just give a little synopsis about this one.
Certainly, Mayor. This ordinance updates the city's existing private outdoor designated area ordinance, specifically by establishing 2 special event locations where the POTA can be partially suspended so that other fairs and festivals can operate without participating in the POTA if they wish to do so. It also provides an updated administrative process to grant permits for fairs and festivals that do wish to participate in the POTA on a more limited basis than our long-term brick and mortar establishments.
Okay. Move to approve.
Second.
Is there anyone wishing to speak about this one, or are we? All right. Call the vote.
Bill Koecki,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine,
Yes?
Danielle Trumbull,
Yes.
Brian Butcher.
Yes.
Consideration of approval of, that passed unanimously. Consideration of approval of a second reading of an ordinance annexing the property of Milan Pushkar Healthright Incorporated into the corporate boundaries of the city of Morgantown. The first reading was 10/1/24. Once again, if we ask our city attorney if you could speak on this.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance will annex the new location of Milan Pushkar Healthright at Scott Avenue into the corporate boundaries. As mentioned before, once council adopt the ordinance, this will be forwarded to the county commission for entry with a certificate of annexation, and the effective date proposed would be January 1st, 2025, because annexations must coincide with the start of a new fiscal quarter.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right. Call the roll.
Bill Koecki,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine,
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull,
Yes?
Brian Butcher.
Yes.
Item C, that passes unanimously. Item C, consideration of approval of a second reading of an ordinance authorizing and approving the conveyance of real property to the City Building Commission, to Morgantown, the Morgantown Building Commission, the leasing of such property from the Morgantown Building Commission, and the issuance by the Building Commission of its lease revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed $11 million, all relating to the construction of improvements at Marilla Park. The first reading was 10/1/24. Is there a motion? Move to approve.
Second.
Bond counsel, yes, please. Steptoe and Johnson, Mr. Hammond.
Tom.
Hi.
Tom Amon with Steptoe and Johnson, bond counsel for the project. So you all are, at least for the time being, nearing the completion of your work with respect to this, because we're going to take a little break, as you'll recall, with the schedule. Pick this back up in the spring. But the Building Commission had their second reading today of course, they're issuing the bonds, had their second reading of the bond authorizing ordinance. We will then advertise for a public hearing, and then they will enact their ordinance on, I think, November 7th. This is final consideration of final enactment of the city ordinance with respect to the project, and also following the public hearing, not to exceed $11 million in bonds, as we've talked about before. That gives a lot of headroom above the estimated cost of the project, just in case something unanticipated happens. Of course, this is for the improvements at Lower Marilla that Mel has sagely advised on at prior meetings. Also authorizing the conveyance of the property, of course, by the city to the Building Commission, and then that lease arrangement where the Building Commission will own the property and lease it back to the city. And then under that lease, the city pays the debt service payments on the bonds through the lease rentals. I don't really have anything else to add at this point, but happy to try to answer any questions anyone might have. Mel, I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add on that?
Just to say thank you all for all the times we've been here to discuss this project, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you.
So,
Move to approve.
thank you. We already had a motion. Pardon? We already had a
We
motion.
already had a motion.
Oh, we already had a motion. Pardon, thank you.
Call question.
All right. So is there any questions or concerns? Otherwise, we're going to have the clerk call the roll.
Bill Kolecki.
Yes.
Weezy Michael.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine.
Yes?
Danielle Trumbull.
Yes.
Brian Butcher.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Consideration of approval of the second reading of an ordinance amending Article 925 of the City Code to revise the rates, fees, and charges for the service area served by the Cheat Lake Wastewater Treatment Plant. The first reading was 10/1/24. And let's see, this would see if someone from MUB wanted to, or Ryan Simonton wanted to just speak on this a little bit.
Mayor, this ordinance will authorize the rates necessary to support the funding of the Cheat Lake wastewater treatment plant expansion, as well as the two pump stations previously discussed. As MUB represented at the last meeting, the rate ordinance is being put in place now to ensure it is effective in time so that they can close on financing for the deadline associated with a portion of the funding, which is ARPA funds passed through from the state and needs to be closed by the end of the year.
All right,
Move to approve.
thank you.
Second.
All right. Does anyone have any comments? All right.
Was there like a bid opening today or something? Was today
I
an
bet
important
you
date
can-
in this?
Something going on we should know about?
Good evening. Mike McNulty, General Manager of the Morgantown Utility Board. Bids will be open next Tuesday. We had one of the bidders ask for an additional week, and we authorized it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Getting you all set up.
We certainly hope so.
All right. Is there any other questions? All right.
Bill Kolecki.
Yes.
Weezy Michael.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine.
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull.
Yes?
Brian Butcher.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Boards and commissions. We may have a few, two maybe today.
Yes, Deputy Mayor, I'd like to, oh, sorry.
No, you go, please.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Nominate Eric Carlson for MUB.
Second?
Okay. Acclamation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him a hard time.
All right. We have another one.
Yeah, yes, I'd like to nominate Adelaide Shop for the Land Reuse and Preservation Agency.
Second?
Okay. Acclamation?
Yes.
Ready? Yep. All right. Now we're on to the public portion. This is the public portion which shall be subject to rules established by council and adopted by resolution. So if, Charlie Chico. Yes.
Yeah.
You can, yeah, just hand it to one person and they can pass it along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Charlie Chico. I live in Morgantown. I live in Evansdale. And I was not here to your meeting last week, but some of the last time. But some of the things that I've heard, one thing that I heard was that you're deciding on whether to close down a street in Morgantown called Raleigh Lane. And for those that don't know Raleigh Lane, it's the road that goes from Birch Street, what used to be called, and now it's called Evansdale Drive, towards the towers, goes under the PRT and comes out at Pattison Drive next to the Kroger parking lot in Cadova. I was told that there's been many accidents on that street. That was reported to you that there's many accidents on that street. And according to the Morgantown police records, unless you consider a total of 4 accidents from 2020 through 2024 so far, then I guess that's a lot of accidents. But 4 in 4 years, to me, is not a lot of accidents. The problem is that I think that the problem is that somebody misunderstood the police report. When the police have an accident to investigate, and they consider something like University Avenue that's miles long, you can't just say the accident was on University Avenue. In this case, it was Pattison Drive. But the police report also has a reference point that they name the closest street to the accident. They name the street that it's on plus the closest street to it, and that's where this came in. Because there's about 8 or 10 accidents on Pattison Drive that are near Raleigh Lane, but there's only 4 been on Raleigh Lane. And that I've seen, I live in that area, and for me to drive down Raleigh Avenue and go under the PRT on to Raleigh Lane to go to Kroger keeps me from driving, fighting to get out onto University Avenue, fighting the traffic there, fighting the students that walk across University Avenue down near Oakland Street to catch the bus, which is on the bus stop is right on that corner of Oakland Street. But on Raleigh Lane, there are delivery trucks that go to Kroger and to Cadova that come from Evansdale Drive down and turn left into the Kroger parking lot. It's a whole lot easier for some of these trucks than to come up the Kroger driveway and try to turn that big rig around in their parking lot to go to the loading dock. But I think that it's a big mistake for you to close that street off like it's closed off now, but it's makes old guys like me and all the neighborhood that needs to go to Kroger, or you can go to through the Kroger parking lot to the Burger King or to any of those places down there. But I've seen fire trucks. I see United Parcel Service trucks. I see FedEx trucks up and down that street. I see the county buses going up and down that street. And to close that to traffic is putting residents that live in that area in jeopardy. I believe that, because they have to fight the traffic to get out into University Avenue. And as crowded as University Avenue is at this time of the day, at the quitting time or the busy time of the day, it puts a danger to people like me. And it's my personal opinion that you cannot close that alley and keep it closed and keep all the people in Evansdale happy. That's for sure. If anybody has a question? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
I have two topics. One was for the thing, Mary Ann Falls, 828 Bloody Run Road. My battery on my key fob died on my way here today, which is why I'm late. Sorry about that. But I wanted to first talk about, as I'm out canvassing, talking to people, an idea came up about for people who work downtown, have businesses downtown, they would love if there was like a parking placard or something like that that they could buy on an annual basis or a 6 months basis so that they don't have to constantly be feeding the meter even if they're using the app. It is just something they have to constantly watch. So that's something I'm going to ask you to think about. I'll talk with the parking authority if that's the better approach, but I just wanted to ask you guys to think about like I said, a one-time thing you can hang on your windshield instead of having to feed the meter all the time. That must be funny. That's okay. Second thing, I wanted to talk about the moving of the health right into Morgantown. I understand why you want to do that. I did want to just follow up and let you know I talked to the county commission the next day after I was here last time and said, hey, can you help up with additional patrols when that comes, when the that place opens, and as Jesus Also Hope continues to take on more clients. And the answer I got was, no surprise, that's the city's responsibility to take care of it. So that's, again, my continued frustration is there seems to continue to be a lack of coordination between the county trying to help you guys out with these problems. So, apologize for last weekend or a couple weeks ago getting a little heated. It's not on you. I really just want to try to protect the citizens that live up there. And I'm just asking for if we can figure out a way as problems continue to occur up there to have a patrol, perhaps it's security guards, off-duty police officers, county, I'm really just looking for some protection for the folks that live up there. A lot of people with kids, we really don't want them having to encounter some of the things they're encountering. That's it for today. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Jamie Summerlin, 209 Kingwood. Just wrote down some thoughts here because I wanted to come address, as I have in the past, the city election cycle that was voted down at the last meeting. Traveling home the other night during the last city council meeting, I listened with disappointment. Then I got home and pulled the meeting up on YouTube and scrolled back and watched with disappointment when this was voted down on the first reading. As per the city attorney's own words, changing the code would place ballot issue on the city's regular election in the month of April to allow the voters to vote on whether the city elections would be changed. I would add that it would move to a cycle followed by an overwhelming majority of cities in our state. There are three very important words in the statement that was made by our city attorney: allow voters. Yes, as the council member said, Morgantown has ran their own elections, and in their words, done it well. I would argue that it's not hard when there are 1,697 people that actually vote. That's 12.96% of our eligible voters in Morgantown. There's no question the city's ran its own elections. There's no question at all. But I believe there are better ways to use our money. That $40,000 could go a long way, especially since it's over double what we paid the last time. Maybe pay for some of the transportation challenges that the council has addressed for our homeless population that needs the help. Just an outside the box idea. As another council member mentioned, what we do in the city is important enough for people to take an interest in it, and it should be the driver bringing them to vote. Then I would ask, if it's so important to our voters, why are less than 13%, 12.96%, only 1,697 people to be exact, of our voting population taking an interest in Morgantown elections? Based on the recent ward and boundaries discussion, that means if it were evened out, you could effectively have 90% of one of our wards determining the entire outcome of our city elections. I don't think it's a fair representation for our city residents. A council member suggested that it's an opportunity to own the news cycle and get media that would otherwise be lost. But are we really taking advantage of that since we're only seeing 12.96% voter turnout? If less than one ward is voting, 1,697 voters to be exact, are our elected or potentially elected council members really taking advantage of the media availability that was discussed? The question was asked, what percentage would it take to get this change if the voters could vote on it, if they would allow the voters to vote on it? The answer was provided by the city attorney. Majority vote gets it. That means 50.1%, which means 849 people in Morgantown will decide this, because only 1,697 people showed up to vote in the last election. I've mentioned in the past that this is one of those hills that I'll die on here in Morgantown, moving the election cycle so we aren't playing catch up to all the other municipalities that have already done it, or having someone force us to do it, especially when those municipalities have seen dramatic increases in voter turnout. To me, that just means people need to work harder to get the word out. And with only 12.96% turnout, I think it needs to be done anyways. I'll leave the city reopening for business on Fridays for another time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Close the public portion. Now we're on to new business. Item A, consideration of approval of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget revision for the City of Morgantown General Fund. Budget Director. Yeah. Hello, John Ferguson. I think we have one.
We have one.
Yes, the general fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so John Ferguson, Finance Director. Good evening, everyone. What you have in front of you, this is for the General Fund Revision Number 3. Put simply, this is to bring in the budget for the animal control services, which were passed almost a month ago. Now, part of this budget, does two things for us. First off, this makes sure that we can now pay for the outstanding 2024 outstanding invoice for that, and also to increase our 2025 budget to meet the actual contract amount. So last year's invoice remained unpaid. Unfortunately, that was rolled into the budget revision number 1, which then put it into contingency, okay, into 2025. Part of what this does for budget revision number 3 is that we're now taking that back out of contingency, putting it back into animal control services. So we're basically moving it back to where it should be, and then we also need to increase this year's current budget so that it matches the agreed upon contract. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Then, if there are no questions, we'll have a vote on it. Is there anything else? All right.
Bill Koecki?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item B, consideration of approval of resolution amending fiscal year 2024-2025 budget, revision number 2 of the capital escrow fund, and here we are. Hello.
Okay.
Again.
So this one, the budget revision number 2 for the capital escrow fund, this serves two purposes. First, this brings in the corresponding budget revision, general fund budget revision number 1. So $605,000 of the original general fund budget revision was to fund specific projects and or items in the capital escrow account. What this does now is that brings it to the appropriate buckets within the capital escrow account. So we took care of the general fund side of it. Now we're taking care of the capital escrow side. The second part of this is that we are bringing in the 2024 carryovers that we had unspent, unutilized, that
have the ability to come over to 2025. Now, keep in mind, this isn't all of them. It's not all encompassing of every single carry forward. We are still working on that. We still have 3 departments that we're still trying to nail down, if you will, make sure that we are carrying forward the correct accounts into the right projects. But for the overall majority, this will serve the purpose of getting most of our 2024 carry forward money into our 2025 budget. And then once we have it into our 25 budget, if we need to move it in between let's say, reconcile to certain projects or items where we want it to be this year within that same department, we can do that using what's called an in-house budget adjustment. But with this revision, we're bringing that money from last year into this year. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I have that all in detail if you'd like to go over it, or we can leave it short and sweet.
I think we had some of the detail provided to us.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think we're probably good.
And I apologize for getting the lateness of the narrative over. That's my fault. I didn't have it by 5 p.m. on Thursday. That was my fault.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. Thank you. Are there any questions?
I want to say I just appreciate you providing us with this kind of narrative to break it down for our tiny brains to understand a little bit better. So I appreciate that.
No problem. To be quite honest, it's originally for me to sit here and talk to you about it. So it helps you, and it keeps us both on track to make sure I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah.
See all the numbers.
I'm offended. My brain is not tiny, but this was very useful when it was emailed. So.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. Anybody else? Call the roll.
Bill Queckie?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item C, consideration of approval to appoint the mayor to the audit committee.
Okay. This one's even sweet and short, and this is a good one. So according to the state auditors, it's called the Procedures Manual for Procuring and Conducting Audits for Local Governments. They basically say that the city council needs to, or they highly recommend that the city council appoints the audit committee. It consists of a 3 to 5 person member committee. One of those members is required to be from the governing body itself. Historically, it has been the mayor. Mayor's not here, so if anyone else wants to step up and take his place, we are taking suggestions.
I think he's willing to serve.
Yep.
He wanted to know what his duties were, but he's willing to serve.
Perfect. If he's willing to do it, we are willing to accept him. More than happy to do that. We, as the audit committee, our primary responsibility is to procure the audit services and to oversee the corrective action associated with the audit findings and concerns. Again, the audit committee is appointed by the board for a period of 2 years. This particular committee will be overseeing the audit of the fiscal year ending 2024, so June 30th, 2024, and June 30th, 2025. And the audit procurement process, we've already sent out the RFPs. Our RFP deadline is actually tomorrow. We've actually received back 2 no bids. We've received back 1 official bid, and I'm waiting on 2 others. So very excited about that.
All right.
And for the appointment, we recommend, or we have 3 volunteers. We have myself, we have Denise Stefanese, she is the Assistant Finance Director, and we have Emily. She's agreed to be our 3rd member in that.
And we assume you'll work with the mayor on scheduling.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
All right.
Move to approve.
Second.
So this is just for the search for like a company to...
Which company?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, to perform the audit, right?
Yep, we get a list provided by the West Virginia State Auditor's Office, and in that list, it's, I want to say it was 6 pages long. We were told that we had to select at least 4 out of that entire list. We actually selected 6, and those went out electronically 2 weeks ago with our RFP.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we did not
I've been on it before.
Not doing the audit.
It's not, no. It's not complicated, but you have to do it. It's a
Yeah.
requirement.
Correct. And we're given the list of those firms that are qualified to perform that audit, and we just need to select the ones that reply back to us from that list.
Sounds good.
Bill Clackey?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
And we did do a motion on that? Good.
No, we did.
All right, good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Consideration of approval of an order of the City Council designating a portion of Belmar and Waverly Streets as one-way streets on a trial basis. And we'd ask Damian Davis if he would step forward.
Thank you, Damian Davis, Director of Public Works and Engineering. City ordinance allows for City Council, before designating any street one-way, to do it on a trial basis for 90 days. The plan I provided to the city clerk today is kind of a rough draft of what we would propose to do on a temporary basis. We'd install signs along that route, going from Rice, Belmar to Waverly in the direction of travel. Parking would remain the same. I don't think we didn't need to change parking. It can still, on a one-way street, be on the opposite side of the street as typically on a two-way street. Again, we'll look at this over a 90-day period. If council approves it, we'll go through and install everything, monitor and see how things go, get comments, and then if everything's good, then we can come back with an ordinance to make it permanent. Thank you.
What is the purpose?
I can explain. It's so crowded up there with the frats that we're unable to get fire trucks, ambulances, and police vehicles to there. The Waverly side is the thinnest side, and with Uber and all the others. And then there's a blind side as well that we've had some problems with.
Yeah, Belmar and Waverly are both two-way streets currently. Parking on one side on Belmar. They do get narrow. There's a lot of traffic up there. A lot of fraternities are right there, so you have a lot of traffic, a lot of delivery vehicles, and so it does get congested. So allowing it to be a one-way circulation would help, alleviate some of the congestion.
So in terms of the Waverly side, is it like difficult to get two cars down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to kind of pull into the woods, like a dirt wooded area.
Yeah, like a lot of our streets.
Yeah.
It sounds like a reasonable approach, but I am curious. Has the neighborhood been notified?
No.
So we're going to do surprise.
As part of this, once council orders it, then we could probably do some kind of, we can reach out to WU that has the ability to reach out to the fraternities up there, the affiliated fraternities. I think there's a few up there that aren't affiliated. But we could do some kind of press notice.
Is it mainly fraternities, not residential at all?
When would it start?
I'd say, if council approves this, there's a few things we have to do. We have to manufacture signs, we have to do one calls at the location, make sure there's no utility conflicts. So it can go in,
Do we mail notices to residents, or?
We can do that, we could go do hang flyers on the door.
Yeah, something
like that. So it can be done within, 30 days, we can have it all installed and done.
What does like initial signage look like to let people know, hey, the traffic pattern's changed?
We can do some kind of, flags on the, like temporary flags that are on there to just get people's attention. We can do, there's signage that says new traffic pattern. I think the do not enter signs will be large on the entrance of Belmar or Waverly to get people's attention.
Can I ask a related question, but not exactly about this? I got a lot of concerns about new stop signs that were installed over in South Park, and the fact that there were no new traffic pattern signs installed. Have we remedied that, or?
Yes,
I sent that on to Megan.
Yeah, we are, we've reached out to the neighborhood, we've remedied most of the issues. We're still in the process of installing one because there was some water line conflict where we had to look at different locations for that sign, which made it a little more complicated to install, but yeah.
But we do frequently, like when stop signs were installed in Jerome Park, we put the flags on them and stuff to get attention.
Yeah,
and
Something that
What I was
says new
thinking is like
traffic
the
pattern.
flag
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
side so that do not enter or something.
Yeah, and something here.
Yeah.
So there's the no entrance type
Yeah.
signs, but
Flashing
then it would be
arrow.
good. Because I think, are the signs that are in here representative of the signs that you're going to have?
Yes, most likely, yeah. There
So
might be some
something at
tweaks
the
and-
entrance at Price to show that it's one way, that way, just to get people thinking at the entrance.
And this is just 90 days. until-
Yes, exactly. This is, if
If it doesn't work out.
if it doesn't work out, all hell breaks loose. There's mass rioting up there.
Then people will
We
be
can-
really confused.
Yeah, we
There's
can,
mass rioting.
remove the signs, that day. But yeah, it's, in that ordinance, it allows for it 90 days, no more than 90 days, a temporary thing, just as a trial period, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Ready?
Do we need to move to approve?
Second.
Second. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, for purpose of discussion, this was only for purpose of discussion. All right, now we can discuss.
Did the first responders ask for?
The fire especially.
People don't like
Fire
change.
truck.
They're gonna freak out.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to end up talking with the university and letting the frats know, because mostly everything on these two streets are frats and rentals
Yeah.
for college students. I'm going to say 99% of the people up there.
It's good to put a hang tag on. Just
Yeah, and like I said, this
give 'em a
is a
hint.
trial basis. And then you have the issue of Ubers, Lyfts. We have, that's so narrow on this side of the street that we sometimes have cars that actually run into each other, and we have a lot of accidents there. So.
Do you have any other questions? Looks like a sane solution, if we can convince people that they would like to do that. All right. Call roll.
Bill Koecki?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine?
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull?
Yes.
Brian Butcher?
Yes.
Passes unanimously. On to item 8, consideration of approval of a request to purchase new equipment. Amy Davis again.
Looking for approval to purchase a new inloader. Our current inloader's 12 years old. It's used mostly for salt and our stockpile, managing our stockpiles out at the garage. Salt puts a beating on that piece of equipment, but it's lasted. It's a good piece of equipment, and we want to purchase a new one and get a trade-in on this one while it still has some value out of it. So right now we're looking at purchasing a new one, and we can get $30,000 for trade-in on our current equipment. So we don't want to go too long, or it will get to the end of its life and be less valuable. So.
This is the moment.
Yes, this is the moment. So, any questions?
This was already budgeted for in the
Yes.
capital.
This is one of the things that the state provides resource for
This,
in terms of purchase.
we're not using the state contract to purchase this. We are using the Sourcewell cooperative purchasing agreement to buy this. So it is a competitively bid, but it's not through the state's contract. Yeah. We did look at that, those pieces of equipment. I think this was our best value.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any more questions?
Did the kids get to touch this one?
I'm sorry.
The kids get to touch this one.
I don't think we're taking this one to touch.
Maybe next year.
Next year we have a new one.
Once the shine's off. All right.
Bill Kolecki,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Celine,
Yes.
Danielle Trumbull,
Yes.
Brian Butcher.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. On to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Pleased to report that a lot of things are happening out at the airport right now in preparation for changes in our EAS contract carrier. There's some internal reorganization that's going on within staff in an attempt to try to improve our operations in the airport to facilitate the change in user and the number of users to that service. SkyWest will, as you know, will have a 50-passenger twin jet engine aircraft, which it'll be interesting to see how it's used, but we're anticipating really great use there. There are some, if you haven't been out to the airport recently, there's some significant renovations that are being made to the counter, customer counter, as well as to the baggage circulation area as it leads to the x-ray machine and then off onto the cart that takes it to the airline. It's going to increase the seating area within the TSA area so that a lot of folks had to, and they still will, depending on the flight, had to sit in the hall and wait for their time to go through TSA. We're increasing the number of seats. Once they go through TSA, it can increase that volume, thereby increasing the efficiency of it. You received, as part of this whole thing, we're working, our communication staff and the CVB staff are working very closely to produce a series of promotions for this. You should have received one in front of you, which it gives you, at least at this point in time, the departing times and the arrival times. But this is going to be a series of promotions that are going to be made to in an attempt to enhance the usership of the new service and of the airport in general. And we're excited about that and really want to express appreciation to Susan, the CVB, and all those folks and the university has participated in those efforts too. We're really excited about what the potential is. Also, you'll be interested to know that we have retained a consultant to give us a recommendation that we can then pass on to City Council for our fire and police pension funds. It's our intent to, this is one of those cans we've been kicking down the road a long time. And what our intent is to try to create a process so that both those pensions, there's a plan for both those pensions to be solvent and to be able to move into the future and feel good about it. We had a meeting, our consultant as well as finance staff and our city attorney and myself, we visited with the representatives of those two pension boards the other day, received their feedback. The consultants are certainly going to take into account the feedback they received. And in the end, it's our intent that there will be a recommendation by this pension board, which then we will make, if it makes sense to us as administration, we'll make a presentation to City Council and let you know what direction we need to go and possibly how to fund it, because it's one of the reasons it's being kicked down the road is because it's very expensive. And so we're going to have to figure out a way to make that happen. And we believe that there's a path forward, and we anticipate that we'll provide that path to you. We're certainly moving forward on the pro-housing grant, as you know, with the submittal of that grant. We're setting up meetings with we're trying to set up meetings with the Housing Advisory Commission to try to move that process forward. You should have also received a copy of the final version of the strategic plan. Staff received input from members of council. Those were integrated into that strategic plan, and we feel really good about the number of items we need to focus and the areas that we're actually focusing on, and we certainly have a strong buy-in from executive staff on that. Finally, we have hired a community services coordinator. That's been a long time coming, as you know. This individual will start on the 28th of this month, and we're excited to have him. We have a service trailer, a resource trailer purchased and getting it stocked so that we can encourage neighborhoods to work together and improve their neighborhoods. And so that's the whole intent of this, is to stimulate neighborhood functioning and coordination. That's the extent of my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Report from the city clerk, and I just wanted to mention that there's some items at our desk that we don't usually receive. So maybe she can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes.
So thank you, and
yeah.
thank you to your team.
Yeah, and thank you, council. That is part of our municipal government week, and that's this week. We'll be doing some things with our employees. Tomorrow, well, first off, starting today, goodies were made by the communications department. Frisbees, a pack of goodies, coloring books, all kinds of things the communications department put together and provided to those departments within the city who welcome customers and visitors, and if there's a child that comes in, they would that department would give them the goodie in celebration of Municipal Government Week, and had some interesting things inside that would help them learn about what our city does. So thanks to the communications department for that. Tomorrow is Employee Appreciation Day, and this is part of Employee Appreciation Day. There's a goodie inside if you haven't looked yet. And tomorrow we will be visiting every city building that has employees there, and we'll be making some goodies for them and sharing these same things with them, and I invite you all. I know that some of the administration will be going to just to honor them and let them know how appreciative we are of them and the things that they do and the service they provide to our city. So we look forward to that. Also, their notifications were sent out to all of the schools inside the city, not just elementary this year, to do a If I Were a Mayor essay. So we're looking forward to what we receive back. I don't have a date for you now when that will come back to us, but I'm anxious to see what we get from the elementary schools versus the middle school and high school. So that's something that we have to look forward to. And then Thursday we have our second Touch a Truck event, and it will be at North Elementary, and we're looking forward to that for the kids. They had a great time last year. We'll have equipment such as a backhoe, fire truck, police cruiser, bucket truck, an IT vehicle, parking authority vehicle with a boot. Urban Landscapes will be there with their water tank, and some airport vehicles. So we're looking forward to that Thursday. This month, as a reminder, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we've sent out notification to our folks, our employees, that tomorrow is Wear Pink Day, and I invite you all to wear pink to support those who battle breast cancer and continue to spread the awareness. Our fire department, as you all know, they annually have their own T-shirts that they make and they sell to raise money for this cause too. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that information. Police Department, yes, thank you.
Is there a photo at a certain time?
There is, thank you. At noon tomorrow in front of the Public Safety Building. And the Police Department made a pink badge that they can wear, the officers can wear to show their support too, so which is really nice. October 28th is National First Responders Day, and this is going to be a collaborative honorary event for all of our city first responders. They don't know about it yet, but they will. I'm inviting you. You'll receive some information about what we're going to do, but it's to honor our first responders. You know, they sacrifice every day with their, you know, leaving their family every day and doing all the things that they do to protect our citizens. So we'll be honoring them on October 28th. A big thank you to our communications department and our police executive secretary for helping to schedule this. So know that something's coming along to invite you all. A reminder, entry-level firefighter applications, we're receiving them online. If you go to our website at morgantownwv.gov, search departments and go down to fire department. There is a link there to apply. Folks can apply online. This Sunday at 1:30 p.m. is the second open house, and that's at Northside Fire Station. And so that gives folks the opportunity to come and participate if they would like in the agility portion of the exam. It teaches them gives them an opportunity to go through the course, talk to the firefighters, learn about how they can best pass the test. It's very difficult. So we had a great response our first open house. The second one is, again, this Sunday, October 20th at 1:30 p.m. at Northside Fire Station. The agility portion of the entry-level firefighter process is November 2nd at 9 a.m. That is on our website. And then those who pass the agility exam will go on to the written exam, and that is December 5th at 6 p.m. at Defense in Depth. Coming up in November, we will have some promotional exams in the fire department. November 6th is the chief promotional exam. November 7th is a captain's promotional exam, and November 8th is the lieutenant's promotional exam. So we will look forward to congratulating those who are promoted in November. And then lastly, even though we just had an entry-level police officer exam, we're not going to turn anyone away. We are accepting police applications again. They can do that online as well on our website. And the next test is March 15th, 2025. So if anyone has any questions about any of those things, please call me. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Yes, any of them that you can send us by email.
Yes.
With the times. We're writing little notes, but, all right. I know we're next is report from the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Council previously approved acceptance of a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant for installation of a bike pump track and associated facilities at Whitmore Park. We've completed the declaration of restrictions that ensures that property is restricted to uses permitted by the program for delivery to the program administrator, and the engineer has submitted the map that's required for that. We'll continue to work with the grant writer and staff on getting that project up and running with the grant funds that were allocated and that were accepted by council. Council approved tonight the bonds for the upgrades to Lower Marilla Park. And as bond council noted, the expectation is that project will be out to bid in January and constructed in the spring. It will come back before council for a supplemental resolution to approve those parameters. In the interim, we'll work with the project engineer Thrasher on the bid documents and notice to bidders and the property transfers necessary to accomplish that financing. Finally, council adopted the annexation of the new health right facility property this evening. We will forward to the county commission the certificate of annexation from council and the proposed order for the commission's entry to get that in place to become effective as of January 1st. I have nothing else to report this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Report from City Council. Bill, would you like to start?
Very little to report, but I would like to encourage anybody who's watching and interested in city government that we have plenty of positions available on the boards and commissions, and they're available and can be perused on our website, or I think our city clerk could point you in the right direction if you have an interest. We'd certainly like to have you participate. That's all I have.
Good. We had a town hall today with Public Works and Engineering in the 3rd Ward today, just to discuss with the neighborhood all the changes with North Street starting construction, and MUB's currently doing their part, and then construction will start soon after for the new road and sidewalks. It should take about, I think we were talking today, 6 weeks to finish the project, and I thought there was some good feedback today, and it went really well. And the project, it's going to be a pretty big project, so it's going to disrupt the neighborhood there for about 6 weeks. So that meeting went really well. And then, and I have to say I agree with Charlie Chico about Raleigh Lane. I know it's going to be a difficult ask, but if there's anything that can be done, that'd be great to keep it open. So, and I think that's all I have for today. Thank you.
I also made a note to speak about the comments we heard about Raleigh Lane. I have heard from our own first responders that being closed off has affected their, I mean, clearly they are really great with response, but that has impacted their response, that being closed. So I do hope that we'll take another look at that and take all of those things into account. We also heard during the public portion disappointment with last meeting's vote on election dates. I was also upset that that did not even get moved to a second reading so that we could have a public hearing. It's almost like we don't want to hear from people. I will certainly throw out there that this is a democracy and any citizen has the ability to introduce a ballot initiative. You have to collect 10% of city voter signatures, and there is apparently no time limit for that. Unlike the referendum, there is no time limit to gather signatures for a ballot initiative. I don't have it in me to take that on, but I'm certainly willing to help anyone else who is. The Woodburn Association of Neighbors is supposed to meet tomorrow, but that meeting has been delayed due to some scheduling issues. We are looking forward to getting an update on the Richwood projects. So that meeting, instead of tomorrow, is going to be held on Wednesday, November 20th at the Woodburn Community Complex. Out of our regular schedule, so definitely mark your calendars for that one, especially if you live in the neighborhood and have an interest in the project. I attended the firefighter open house 2 weeks ago, and that was very interesting. I did not participate in the activities, but I definitely got a very good breakdown and explanation from all of our guys who were overseeing the folks who were practicing. They will let anyone come and do that. So if you have any type of interest, definitely come next weekend on the 20th at 1 o'clock. It was very interesting. The only other thing I wanted to mention was that Grace Shelter is having an open house this Thursday from 11 to 1 at Hazel's House of Hope, the shelter location. Last I heard at a meeting last week, they're up to taking about 20 people, so they're still not operating at full capacity, but they have amped it up a little from when they first took over that space. Just speaking on things at H3, I made some notes at our advisory council meeting last week about the use of the day room. September's day room, they did 68 individual people did laundry for a total of 204 loads. They handed out 488 snacks. People had 115 showers. They served a lot of people. 3,900 meals have been served so far this year at Hope Cafe there that the Salvation Army runs. And they wanted me to remind everyone that Monday through Saturday, lunch is served from 11 to 12 p.m., dinner from 4 to 5 p.m., and on Sundays they have one meal from 2 to 3. They have cut their hours down slightly. That used to be an hour and a half or 2 hours for each meal. Now it's down to an hour, but they said that was because of the shelter being closed and not as many people being on site. They will expand that back as needed, so if that is something you're into. I also made a note that Salvation Army Angel Tree signups are open now through October 31st. Just another note that I made during the meeting. I think that's all I have.
I didn't have much to report. I just wanted to, I guess what's like become a little weird neighborhood tradition. Yeah, you're looking at the same thing I am, Jen.
Yep, I saw.
I looked
Give
over.
all the information. It's
Yeah.
all yours.
We kind of just, a neighbor of ours, Claire, had one like sort of neighborhood gathering where she brought a bunch of pie. Everybody brought a bunch of pies, and we were sort of judging those pies. And we've done it for what, like 4 years now, 3 or 4 years, something like that. Just
anything with
it's
pie.
just become a tradition out of nowhere. And so that'll be on. They're calling it Neighborhood Fall Mingle now. It has an official name at Turtle Park, Suncrest Mini Park. On November 2nd from 3 to 4:30. And yeah, it's always, I won't be there because when I'm working, but but yeah, it's always cute, and I think people do their best to make good pies. And you bring store-bought too. I don't think it'll win, but
That would be pathetic if it were.
yeah, right. But that's all I have to report.
Well, I was going to mention that because it's a shared neighborhood association event. Turtle Park is the scene of a nice neighborhood garden that has fairy houses. When they're not broken, they're being fixed. Somebody mistreated the fairy houses, so anyway. But it's a nice park. It has a nice neighborhood feel, and that'll be a good event. Today I attended, on the mayor's behalf, the opioid meeting. I had no idea that we had 72 municipalities in our region, which is a lot of municipalities. But Jonathan Dower was elected to a 3-year term representing all of us, and they had the election, but then they also asked a lot of questions and provided some information. I guess one of the main things is that for right now, when they accepted this round of grants, they were accepting grants from organizations that were kind of already established, but that in the future they're looking forward to providing the possibility of grants to other organizations that with other ideas that are not quite as restricted as that one, but that will be after a needs assessment so that people can make their grant applications fit what is needed in our area. There may be at least 1 or 2 other grant cycles that'll happen before the needs assessment is complete, but they're heading toward that direction. That is what I have for today, and is there someone who would like to read us into executive session? don't
I
have it in
move
front
that
of me.
pursuant to West Virginia State Code, Section 6-9A4B9, we enter executive session to consider matters affecting acquisition or development of property in the Richwood Avenue area.
Second.
All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Here we go. Thank you.